Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Dan Hiscock, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Wing Commander Michael Garside. We warmly welcome the family of Flying Officer Alexander Glenn Jennison, who are with us here this evening, and the family members who are also watching the live stream of this ceremony. His story will be told shortly. This evening, we warmly welcome Wing Commander Bob Howell, retired, representing the Air Force Association, and the delegation representing Course 14 from the 1st Recruit Training Unit at RAF Base Wagga. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those still serving, and the families and loved ones that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family, visitors to the memorial, and students on behalf of Mount Ousley Public School from Fairy Meadow, New South Wales. Australia's Federation Guard is the tri-service ceremonial unit of the Australian Defence Force. They provide a ceremonial presence at civil and military events and during visits to Australia by foreign dignitaries. The Guard will now dismount the catafalque party from the tomb of the unknown Australian soldier. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. If you wish to do so and you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Do I need it? Today we remember and pay tribute to Flying Officer Alexander Glenn Jennison. Alexander Jennison was born on the 18th of February 1911 in Mathura, New South Wales. Affectionately known as Bryn, he was one of 5 children born to grazier Joseph Barraclough Jennison and his wife Jessie. He received his education at Mathura State School and later at Geelong College, where he was a boarder until 1925. On completion of his schooling, he returned to Mathura and began working on his father's property named Dunblane. He was working there at the outbreak of the Second World War. Alexander Jennison enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force Reserve on the 8th of October 1940. He was accepted into the Air Force on the 21st of June 1941 and travelled to the town of Somers, where he undertook his initial training. He undertook further training at Western Junction and Malala in northern New South Wales before returning to Victoria in early 1942. There, he attended the General Reconnaissance School at Laverton for 3 months before joining the Seaplane Training Squadron on the 15th of June 1942. 2 months later, he married a local woman named Sheila Martin at St Andrew's Church in Echuca. On the 3rd of October 1942, Jennison boarded a flight from Brisbane destined for the United Kingdom. When he arrived, he joined No. 10 Squadron at their base in Mountbatten near Plymouth, where he earned the nickname Pop. Equipped with Sunderland flying boats, Jennison's squadron was responsible for locating and destroying German submarines, as well as undertaking air-sea rescue and transport missions and convoy duties. Jennison's first operations took place around the Bay of Biscay, hunting German submarines moving from bases in France to the Atlantic. On the 21st of September 1943, Jennison was pilot of an 11-man crew which took off from Mountbatten to undertake routine operations over the Atlantic. During their journey, they sent through an incomplete combat report to base, simply stating the name of a German fighter aircraft. After this message was received, the aircraft failed to return to base and was never seen again. Despite attempts to locate Jennison and his crew, they were later presumed to have been shot down over the Atlantic Sea. Flying Officer Jennison would never meet his only son, John, who was 3 months old at the time. The squadron's commanding officer, Wing Commander Geoffrey Hartnell, later wrote to Jennison's widow. Pop was one of the best-liked members of the squadron. His cheery smile and happy manner made him extremely popular among us all. I personally have memories I shall never forget, as both of our sons were presented to us at roughly the same time, and we had a standing feud over their relative weights from time to time. Although your son will grow up without having seen his father, he made doing so that never did a man have a father of whom he could be more proud. I know the thoughts of the whole squadron are very much with you at this time, and I would like you to accept theirs and my deepest sympathy. Today, Flying Officer Jennison is commemorated alongside his fellow crewmen at the Runnymede Memorial in Surrey, England. He was 32 years old. Alexander Jennison's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flying Officer Alexander Glyn Jennison, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We'll leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over, but in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and your continued support of the Memorials Development Project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.